Everybody, how we doing? I want to say thank you for the continued support. I've noticed the increase in likes, comments, and subscribers, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to keep these videos coming. And today's video, I want to talk about the rumors where Tennessee might be interested in Aaron Rodgers. If you guys remember last year, that seemed to be a thing when Rodgers was building a home in Nashville until the Packers decided to sign him to a 3-year, $150+ million extension. And, that kind of fizzled out, obviously. And now it's heating up again because things might be fizzling out with the Jets. Because Rodgers decided to hop on the Pat McAfee show and say he was 90% going to retire when he went into his darkness retreat. Okay, this guy cracks me up. So the Packers originally were offered by the Jets 2023 second-round pick and a 2024 first-round pick with no clauses whatsoever. Now, when Rodgers came out on the Pat McAfee show and said, 90% going to retire, now that made Woody Johnson of the Jets a little nervous, and can't blame him. They're offering a lot of picks there for a guy that might only play one season. So now they want to take those picks, and the 2023 second is still there. The 2024 first is now going to be a 2024 second. But that's conditional if the Jets host a home playoff game. If the Jets host a home playoff game, it'll go from a second to a first. But let's be honest here. The Jets play in the same division as the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. The odds that the Jets, they're very talented, and Rodgers will put them at that Super Bowl contender level. And that's, facing those two teams twice a year. And then Patriots are still there too. Those are 6 tough games. So the odds that happens and they win the AFC East is not highly likely. So then also they want a 2025 conditional pick if Rodgers were to retire. So I can't blame the Jets for doing that now, but this could very much, alter this whole trade. The Packers are going to want compensation for him, but you also got to remember that $50 million cap hit this year, and it's guaranteed, right? That's big. That's really big. And then you also got to remember here, 2024 draft next year, we got Drake May coming, and we got Caleb Williams, right? So 2 great quarterbacks coming up, better than this year's quarterbacks, in my opinion, by far. So these teams are going to be giving up, first-round picks or top picks in next year's draft. They might need these as ammo to move up. So 2024 picks are kind of crucial. We have some conditional picks coming, and I'm happy about that. We have 6 picks this year, so I'm happy we have picks next year. Now, this can affect Tennessee in many ways. If the deal falls through and we go ahead and get Aaron Rodgers, right? And next, if the deal does fall through, and let's just say we don't get Aaron Rodgers at all, and he retires, or somebody else gets him, or he stays in Green Bay, which I don't see that happening. But I didn't see that happen last year, and he stayed. If that happens, supposedly the Jets' second tier option here, or their second option, is to get Ryan Tannehill. Now, I would love that. I want to offload that guy. I want compensation for him. I don't want to just cut him. I would love that. So we had to monitor this a little bit, in my opinion, and I don't think anything happens until draft night because let's just say the Jets, a guy falls, and supposedly teams aren't interested in Stroud anymore. We'll see how that goes. Houston might not take quarterback at 2. Maybe the Jets trade up, get their guy. They don't need Rodgers anymore, right? You don't have to worry about that cap hit either. And you're going to be giving up, draft compensation anyways. You got a guy in a rookie deal. So we're going to figure out more in draft night. I don't think anything happens until draft night because then teams will shake out, find out who missed out on their quarterback, who needs a guy like Rodgers, who needs a guy like Tannehill. That's how that's going to play out, in my opinion. But as I said earlier, I do not blame the owner for the Jets here for being hesitant on that, especially when Rodgers said he was 90% going to retire. So, but I wanted to look into, and I kind of put some points together here. I wanted to see what Tennessee would be like, the positives and the negatives, if we were to get Aaron Rodgers, okay? So how I think Tennessee's positives would be. Now, I think Tennessee becomes a Super Bowl contender right off the bat with Aaron Rodgers. We got to remember, we would have Chigakonkwo we'd have Traylon Burks, and then we have a stud back there, future Hall of Famer, and Derrick Henry. So, and the offensive line is better now than it was last year. So Rodgers can get the ball quick. He has some weapons, not a lot. We definitely need wide receivers. Obviously, if we're trading probably a second, which it looks like this year, and a first, if we match what the Jets did to get Rodgers, we would probably have to draft a receiver with our third pick or a lineman. We need receivers, but it's not like he's working with no weapons. I mean, we have minimal weapons, but like I said, Chig, Burks, and Henry, and hopefully Kyle Phillips comes back, put on a little bit of muscle this year. Hopefully he's healthy too. I'll need him for slot. NWI 1-year deal. I mean, he has no business being anything other than a wide receiver 4 or 5. Now, those are the positives. It gets also Tannehill out of here. Maybe we get compensation for him. Well, we should. And also, you got to remember, our defense is elite. We're getting Landry back healthy. Christian Fulton should be more healthy this year. Elijah Molden was banged up all last year. Plus, we have Simmons healthy. Remember, he played on a bum ankle all last year. And Arden Key, who I think is going to be a fan favorite. I think he's going to be a Danico Autry for us. Another Danico Autry. And I should also mention Danico Autry, right? Because he was a little banged up too. Our front seven is going to be killer. Now, the negatives on that is I'm not a huge Rodgers fan. You get to go to a darkness retreat and say, oh, I'm going to retire. I don't know. I'm 90%. Well, if you're 90% retire and then you come back, I mean, what, next year you're going to be 95? You're going to be closer? It's just, he's like playing games, and it's just, the whole thing is stupid. What are you going to have, a 1-year rental for a second and a first? I don't want that, especially because the negatives are the huge contract. He signed a 3-year, $150.8 million extension last year. After saying, remember last year, like I said, there was rumors that he might go to Tennessee because he built a house in Nashville. So, because of the contract. And they got a contract, they had to trade Devontae Adams away because they couldn't afford him. So he's cap strapping his team, and he's set to make $59.5 million this year, all guaranteed, and $49.3 million next year. That's huge. And like I said, he can retire. You pay him $59.5 million, let's just say $60 million, right? $60 million guaranteed just to retire for 1 year. Now, like I said, I do think it would make us a Super Bowl contender. I'm not a huge Rodgers fan, if you can't tell. I'm not for this. I'm not for this at all. Would I be excited? Of course I'd be excited. I'm a Titans fan. I have optimism. I had optimism for the Jake Locker days, and you see how that worked out, right? So, I don't know. Like I said, I'd be optimistic, but I don't want it to happen. I think there's better routes. Would I prefer Rodgers over Tannehill? Yes. But the cap hit is crucial. We don't have cap this year. We're struggling with cap in general. We're in cap hell. So I don't know if that even... I think Rams is doing his due diligence and looking into all the quarterback options, seeing what teams might want. And the Packers are having a hard time. They're going to have a hard time unloading this guy. That cap hit and the fact that he might retire next year is going to scare any team away. Why would you do it? If you're a GM, you're risking your job for 1 year. If you get you a Super Bowl, cool. He might win you a Super Bowl, then he retires, and then you're losing your job in 2 or 3 years anyways. So, I don't know. It's very risky. I'm not a fan. Let me know what you guys think, though, and talk soon. See you guys.